Tonight, from the holy city of Jerusalem to the National Cathedral in Washington and so many places in between, prayers for peace on earth and goodwill to all people on this Christmas Eve. Joining us, the Reverend Robert Schuller of the Crystal Cathedral and Hour of Power. He is in Jerusalem. Here in Salt Lake City is Gordon B. Hinckley, president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at the Mormon Tabernacle, and South Africa's Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Nobel Peace Prize laureate at the National Cathedral in Washington. We're all next on Larry King Live. Merry Christmas. On this Christmas Eve, we're in beautiful city of Salt Lake, Utah, Salt Lake City, home of the Mormon Tabernacle. That's right where we are. And on all the break spots tonight, when we go to commercial, you'll be seeing scenes from the Mormon Tabernacle's world-famous choir in a concert they held last weekend that our CNN crew, through our local affiliate KSL here in Salt Lake, taped. So you'll be seeing lots of the Mormon Tabernacle tonight as well. And in our Millennium Month, we present outstanding guests every night, no exception tonight. We have three wise men, if you'll allow me a pun, are our guests this evening. Let's start with President Hinckley and then go round robin. Give us a little history about the Mormon Tabernacle. How old is this place?
Well, this building came into use in about 1870. It was constructed as a place here in the desert. It was constructed of pillars that were placed all the way around and then a great bridge work of timbers. The roof is 9 feet through. This was constructed by interlocking those timbers and driving pegs through them to become hinge points. And then when the timber split, it was bound with rawhide, which was green, and as it dried, that tightened it and made a tremendous engineering feat out of it.
How long has this choir been singing?
This choir's been singing since before the tabernacle was built.
300, and the organ, where did that organ come from?
That organ is a wonderful instrument. It's been brought up to date a number of times. It's the very latest in organ technique.
And by the way, I must tell you, the city outside this building looks beautiful tonight. Tell us, Reverend Schuller, what the situation is like where you are. Are you in Jerusalem? Are you in Bethlehem? Where are you?
I'm about a mile from Bethlehem. Right behind me, you can see the lights of the city of Bethlehem. Where I'm sitting right now is probably where the shepherds were when the angels appeared and proclaimed the purpose of the whole faith, and that is to bring peace on earth, goodwill to men. So I'm, for the first time, celebrating Christmas Eve under the sky on the Shepherd's Hills with a beautiful view of the entire city of Bethlehem. It was Bethlehem 2,000 years ago, and it is tonight.
And why are you there?
I'm here because I'm very interested in praying for peace and doing what I can to bring peace on earth, goodwill to men. I've had a wonderful past few days, spending hours and several meetings, 3 in his home, with a leading Muslim thinker and leader in the world, the Grand Mufti of the great mosque in Damascus, invited me to come there, and that's what brought me here to the Holy Land. And I preached in the mosque.
The idea of bringing religions together, right?
Absolutely. I have seldom met with a man whom I felt an immediate kinship of spirit and an agreement of faith and philosophy, quite like I have with the Grand Mufti of the faith. And then I've spent a great deal of time with the chief rabbi here in Israel, and he wants to meet the Grand Mufti, and I think maybe I can get the two together.
And Archbishop
if we do,
Tutu,
we will have...
Well, that'll be historic. Archbishop Tutu, can you get us up to date on the scene at that historic National Cathedral in Washington?
Well, I think this beautiful cathedral church, which is the National Cathedral of the Episcopal Church in the United States, is filling up for what is usually described as the midnight mass, a traditional mass, to which the President and the First Lady of the United States will be coming as will so very many important people. Everybody is important when we will be celebrating, as it were, in the center of political power, to celebrate the coming of God into a world where God is saying, I love you, you all are wonderfully precious, and I believe in you.
President Hinckley, do you think, really, it's possible that Reverend Shula's dream and what Archbishop Tutu just said can happen? Do you think that all peoples, all religions, despite your differences, can come together?
Well, I would hope so. I hope that's a possibility. I think that things are better than they've ever been. We have differences, of course we do, but there's a greater spirit of tolerance. I think a greater spirit of acceptance of other religions. We must recognize that all our men and women are sons and daughters of God. If they're sons and daughters, they're brothers and sisters. We're all of one great family, the family of God. And we must learn to get along one with another and respect one another.
Hasn't always worked out that way, though.
No, it hasn't worked out, but Christianity hasn't failed. It's the greatest success story in the world. When all's said and done, it's succeeded in doing so very, very many things. And the fact that we still have problems that we have not overcome in human relationships does not mean that it has not succeeded.
Now, let me get a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about coming together and lots of other things to talk about on this rather historic Christmas Eve as we approach the new millennium. And as we leave you, as we will on all our breaks, here are scenes of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir in a concert last weekend in this tabernacle in this city. We'll be right back.
Larry King Live is brought to you by Fidelity Investments. We help you invest responsibly. Visit us at fidelity.com.
Buzz Aldrin and I don't take the same approach to investing. I like trading at home. Buzz trades from far away. Gotcha. We do, however, share the same new way to trade online.
Introducing PowerStreet by Fidelity, with the tools you need to trade your way, whether online, two-way pager, or the new Palm 7 handheld computer.
And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use it.
Speak for yourself, Bob.
PowerStreet at Fidelity.com. Online trading gets personal.
KJ McAllister mailed in her entry. Beverly Cook mailed in her entry. But this Super Bowl Sunday, you could win $21 million without mailing in an entry. Publishers Clearinghouse introduces PCH.com. Just go online, enter, and you could win $21 million. Of course, if you want to mail it in, that'll work too. So watch your mail or go to PCH.com. And on Super Bowl Sunday, the $21 million winner could be you.
If you wear dentures, imagine how nervous teaching teenagers could make you feel. What if your dentures slipped? But thanks to the all-day hold of Super Polygrip, those days are over. I think that says a lot about the power of Polygrip.
Rolling Stone, USA Today, the New York Times. Critics are calling The Green Mile unquestionably the best picture of the year. The Green Mile, rated R, now playing at a theater near you.
Every year, millions of people start driving. And they keep on driving. Where will all the energy come from? That's why we're on the road too. ExxonMobil.
Tonight on CNN Newsday, for the teacher, it's a labor of love. For the students, a chance to learn their craft from living legends. It's not your conventional acting school. Meet the man with the lead role at the Actors Studio. CNN Newsstand, tonight, 10 Eastern.
We're back at the Mormon Tabernacle on this Christmas Eve. By the way, tomorrow night, continuing our Millennium Month, Stephen Hawking, the famed physicist at Cambridge University in England, will be our special guest. Reverend Shula, there has been so much in this past millennium, intolerance in your faith, so much killing in the name of God. What gives you hope that that could change?
Well, I think that we're in a totally new era in human relationships. With the advent of television globally, with the advent of the internet, anybody can listen to any viewpoint they want. In other words, the era for centuries has been religious people indoctrinate their followers. And in order to indoctrinate, you have to protect them from hearing contrary viewpoints. Warfares for centuries were fought, and it was the fortress wall, and that was the way to protect yourself. And indoctrination has been the fortress walls of ideologies and theologies. Then came the cannon. It lopped over the fortress walls, and from that point on, warfare would never be fought the old way. And the walls are down. People are hearing everybody else's opinions. And so I think the age of being able to indoctrinate people is finished. And we're in an age of communicating with each other. And that is an amazing, miraculous new discovery.
Well said. Bishop
I think
Tutu,
as long as
would you agree with that, Bishop Tutu?
That's a very good assessment. You know, just a week or so ago, there was a meeting of what is called the World Parliament of Religions held in Cape Town, when you had all kinds of faiths represented in Cape Town at this meeting. And I would want to say that we, in fighting against apartheid, found that we had on the one side a Muslim, a Jew, a Christian, all of us agreeing that injustice and oppression were wrong, and that there is a greater measure of understanding that our faiths are not the same, and yet they are different ways of moving and discovering the transcendent, that God is a great deal larger than all of our faiths.
Well, President Hinckley, your faith began as a tormented faith.
Exactly.
In fact, Christians...
We've endured very much of persecution.
And since you've seen that and myriads of other types in this millennium, what gives you to hope? What would you to add?
Well, I look at the progress we've made. We were in the early years the subject of terrible persecution. We've come from that to respect all across this land and across other parts of the world.
Do you agree that
We've become a
television
respected people.
Do you agree television and the internet has now opened it all up?
I think television, radio, all of these things have been factors in this change. This broadcast from this great tabernacle has been going on for 69 years across this nation and across much of the world, singing tremendous anthems, a great and marvelous choir. It has done very much, more than anyone I think can really tell, to ameliorate feelings and bring a better understanding of what's going on.
You think we're seeing, in this new millennium, you're going to see an end of war?
I don't know that we'll see an end of war, but we'll see more peace, hopefully.
Does Bethlehem, Robert Shula, give you encouragement toward that? Do you have that emotional feeling there tonight?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when the chief rabbi of Israel wants to meet with the top Christian and Muslim leaders in the world, this is marvelous. When the Grand Mufti would invite me from America, a Christian, to come and preach the sermon in his mosque on Holy Day of Prayer, Friday, December 17, and he invited to sit and listen to my 40-minute sermon, that he would sit and often hold my hand while I was talking. And here was the Roman Catholic Patriarch, the Patriarch of the Orthodox Church, and the Patriarch of the Syrian Orthodox Church, and the Protestant minister of the town. This is a remarkable thing that's happening. And I don't want to talk too long, but the Grand Mufti said something that really impressed me. He said, religion is like the rain that falls. to refresh, to keep life beautiful, growing. But religion like rain falls, and then the extremists come, and they pollute the pure water until the water itself is almost unsafe for people to drink. And I'm very excited. We're in an era today when we're determined to clean up the pollution of the air, and we're determined to clean up the pollution of the water, and we're determined to clean up the pollution of the oceans. And I predict we're going to focus in the next millennium as religious leaders to clean up the pollution in religion.
Let me get a break and come back with more on this Christmas Eve again. More from the historic Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Don't go away.
Scientific research says eating raw garlic daily helps maintain a healthy cholesterol level. For Natrol's Garlipure, we select each clove of garlic before it goes into the ground. And Garlipure's exclusive cool-dry process preserves the maximum amount of garlic's active ingredients. And because it's Natrol's Garlipure, you know it's the best. You have my word on it. Natrol Garlipure, available at Rite Aid.
Probably you remember some of my home runs of the last season. Today, I would like to invite you to my real home, the Dominican Republic. Now, it's your turn to swing the bat and hit the home run for the most memorable vacation of your life. Come to the Dominican Republic. All Americans are welcome.
The Dominican Republic. Come, share our treasures.
Few cold ones, a big Mr. Fix has got to start showing off.
Yeah, he'll woo the women with his grouting expertise.
Staying in control doesn't mean staying away from fun. Coors NA is ice-cold Rocky Mountain refreshment without all the alcohol. Serve great tasting Coors NA so guests can get home safely. It's perfect for designated drivers and limo dancers.
Hey, Bob, how about some pointers?
There are some things even Bob Vila can't fix.
I feel like I'd be a fool if I didn't do something I really want to do, which is to ask you for a date.
You want to go on a date with me?
Yeah, that is what I wait for. I wait and I pray.
When's the last time you talked to your son?
I don't know. I am not going to take care of him. What does he want?
I don't want him to die. Save me. Come on and save.
Rated R. Now playing in New York and LA. Starts January 7th every.
It's Christmas morning in Bethlehem. You're seeing a live scene now of the birthplace of the Prince of Peace. The weather has been inclement, but as you can tell, it's a rather peaceful morning. That's the scene behind Reverend Shula. We'll begin this round of questioning, and anyone can jump in at any time with Archbishop Tutu. Has a new book out called No Future Without Forgiveness. And by the way, Gordon Hinckley has a book coming in March called Stand for Something. I'll ask him what that means. But for you, Desmond Tutu, how can you forgive? With all that's happened to you, things put upon you, what leads you to say that there is no future without forgiveness? What do you mean?
It's absolutely clear. You see it when a couple quarrel, unless they get to the bottom of what made them quarrel, they've had it. And it's obvious too with countries, with nations. We're seeing it in Rwanda, we're seeing it in Kosovo, that the Serbs did awful things to the Kosovars, and you thought, I mean, that when things became normal, they might begin to think of reconciliation. Instead, the Albanians are now paying back in the same coin, and so you have a spiral. And I believe, and this is a wonderful injection of our faith, that because we have been given the ministry of reconciliation, we are those who have been forgiven and are asked in our turn to forgive. I haven't suffered as much as many people in my own country, but look at Nelson Mandela spending 27 years in jail. He comes out where people were expecting him to be filled with hatred and a bitter desire for revenge. He becomes an icon of magnanimity and reconciliation. And South Africa seems to be a kind of example, unlikely example. But I believe myself that we have been given the opportunity of making a new beginning.
Have you, Gordon Hinckley, forgiven those who, in the past, tormented your faith?
Yes, I think we have.
Where do you get that from?
Oh, it comes of the gospel. You put your faith in the Lord. You cast your burdens upon Him.
And that makes it easy to forgive.
Makes it easier.
You could understand the Pope going to the prison to visit the man who shot him and kissing him on the cheek.
Yes, and you're not likely to forgive unless you have that godly feeling that accompanies it.
And what does it do for you when you forgive?
Oh, it has a cleansing effect, a marvelous effect. You get over carrying that heavy burden that you've been troubled with.
Yeah. Isn't it difficult, Reverend Shula, though? I'm looking at this emotionally. Isn't it hard to forgive someone who has bugged you?
Of course it's hard to forgive. You know, Jesus said, to his disciples, he said, which would be the hardest thing for me to do? To heal this man of his disease, or to say, your sins are forgiven? He said the hardest thing is to forgive, because of our compulsion, legitimately for real justice, could restrain us from extending mercy. The greatest contradiction in life is the contradiction between justice and mercy. And I think that first of all, I want to applaud the title of the book, because I don't think there's anything needed more today as we come into a new millennium and a new century than for nations and persons to close the door on the past and walk away from it and be able to be free from the oppression of history, where we say everybody owes me a lot of pardon, etc. We have to close the door on the second millennium. Close the door and start over again.
Let me take a break, and when we come back, ask Gordon Hinckley what he means by stand for something. This is Larry King Live on Christmas Eve. You're listening to the Mormon and watching the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and that's where we're coming from, and we'll be right back.
Spell it out for you?
It's
HB.
Oh, poor you.
Feel better? It's so far from TV. It's HB.
All right, yeah.
Learn it. Live it. Love it. It is what it is.
Well, what is it then?
Don't make me state the obvious.
Bad, filthy American fun. It's HB.
Oh my God. I think that's great.
Who is going to lead business out of the net? Not us.
We'll let PSINet be the innovators. With their global private network, multi-currency, e-commerce, they want to be pioneers. So be it. We've been in business for 80 years. We give our customers what we want when we're ready.
With the internet, business either innovates or vegetates. You make the call.
Buzz Aldrin and I don't take the same approach to investing. I like trading at home. Buzz trades from far away. Gotcha. We do, however, share the same new way to trade online.
Introducing PowerStreet by Fidelity, with the tools you need to trade your way, whether online, two-way pager, or the new Palm 7 handheld computer.
And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use it.
Speak for yourself, Bob.
PowerStreet at Fidelity.com. Online trading gets personal.
Merry Christmas from all of us at CNN and Time Warner. President Gordon B. Hinckley, what do you mean by the term that, and we said stand for something. The title of the book is Standing for Something. It's going to be released in March by Random House and Times Books. What do you mean?
This book becomes a plea to people to stand up, declare their return of values, to be honest, to be upright, to be men and women of integrity, to be men and women who have faith, who pray, who return to the virtues that made America great, to tie the family together, which has been falling apart.
Why should we have to stand up and say that?
Because we need to make some declaration that will mean something to others. When we make a declaration, we make a self-commitment, and that commitment becomes binding upon ourselves.
So it's important to not just live it.
Not important not to just live it, but to say something about it to others. Let it become contagious. Let virtue move across the country, the nation, the world. Most other problems will take care of themselves if that happens.
You agree with that, Reverend Schuller?
Oh, absolutely. I want to thank very much President Hinckley for pointing out that Christianity has been the greatest success possible. After 2,000 years, right behind me, only a few feet, simple shepherds stood, and they heard something, a message, they said, from angels. They didn't expect it, and they dropped everything. They made haste. They went to Bethlehem. You are looking over my shoulder at the very birthplace where Jesus was born. They came, they found him, they left and praised God, and they launched a movement, and 2,000 years later, out of that movement came the values that produce hospitals, universities, science, art, humanities, music, all of culture is better today because of it. And what we need to do is return to the faith and the values of this Christ who was born 2,000 years ago. And I want to comment on how we can do that when you have a chance.
I'm sure will. But Archbishop Tutu, do you agree that it's not just living it, you have to stand up and say how you live it?
I think that is absolutely true. What I would want to say as a preliminary point is we've got to be very careful that we don't get to be triumphalistic. Christianity has done some extraordinarily wonderful things, but it's also been responsible for some of the most horrendous atrocities that the world has seen, and we ought to be suitably modest and humble. But I do believe that it is true that we need to stand up for what is good, for what is beautiful, for what is true. But also do this not in an aggressive way that makes you look like you believe you are always right and everybody else is wrong. I think that often and often we put people off by not commending the faith of grace graciously. And we need to be doing that, making people realize that we have a precious gift, Jesus Christ, who came as one not triumphant, he ends up on a cross, somebody who offers his life on behalf of others. And it is almost always when we do that, when you are a Mother Teresa, when you are whoever, when you are doing something on behalf of others and not looking for a reward, that we are most successful. It is when we think we are the ones who've got the truth.
Yeah, I am the way and the light and the truth, and you're not. We have to all get together. We're going to ask his thoughts, Reverend Schuller, on how we really do this, and I'm going to play a little devil's advocate and find out how we all still are three wise men, still believe as they do when they see something at like Venezuela this past week. We'll be right back on this Christmas Eve. Don't go away.
Deep in heavenly
Tonight on CNN Newsday, he teaches acting in an unconventional way. Go backstage at the Actors Studio. CNN Newsstand tonight, 10 Eastern.
Critics are calling AutomallUSA.com magnificent. A must-see website. 4 stars. Just point, click, and drive. Save time, save money, avoid the hassle. Buy or sell. New or used. Any make, any model. AutomallUSA.com.
Now, get breaking news. No matter where it happens, see the interviews that'll make today's headlines, preview the markets, and get a jump on the business day. Catch the scores and the must-see highlights. Check the forecast. Weather clear across America. Early edition. First with the news you've been looking for. Weekdays, 7 Eastern on CNN.
Sponsored by Standard TV and Appliance.
100 hours of Millennium 2000, only on CNN.
We're back on this Christmas Eve. We're at the Mormon Tabernacle in Salt Lake City, and our guests are President Gordon B. Hinckley, President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. His book, Standing for Something, will be released in March. At the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. is Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Archbishop Emeritus of Cape Town, South Africa, Nobel laureate. He won the Peace Prize in 1984, author of No Future Without Forgiveness, which was published in October by Doubleday. And in Jerusalem, the famed Reverend Robert Schuller, television minister, host of Hour of Power, that syndicated television show that is also seen, by the way, around the world as well. Let's start with Reverend Schuller in this go-around. Some quick, if you could tell us, some tips as to what makes you think this can come about.
Well, I think because we're reaching an age where world religions are moving from regulations and restrictions into focusing more on building relationships. And that's, I think, a phenomenal positive movement. I think that the religions are going to become more humble. What has been tragically lacking is that we have lost humility in our pursuit of truth. And we get our answers and we think that our answers are all right and some of our answers are wrong, and that's true for all of us. So we have to learn to pursue truth with humility, and I think that's happening. Another thing we have to learn is that tolerance is not enough. Tolerance is inadequate. Tolerance says, well, I'll tolerate you even though I probably don't agree with you. And we have to rise to a higher level in relationships than tolerance, for goodness sakes. We have to come to love and respect these persons as humans, our brothers and sisters, even though we have differences of faith. And then we have
let me pick up on that in a minute. Hold on. President Hinckley, we see, how can you continue to believe? You see Venezuela. I think we've got thousands dead.
Yeah.
Floods. You believe in a higher power.
I do.
That could have been prevented.
Yes, but the fact is that God allows man his agency.
But man didn't cause the flood.
If you view immortal life in terms of this life only, you have a very short view of it. We're all a part of an eternal process. There is suffering in Venezuela. It's terrible. I've been in such places when there has been such suffering. We have from our church right tonight people in Venezuela who are working in the mud and the damp and the cold and the bitterness of that terrible situation to bring help and comfort. The tragic thing is that it happened, yes, but even more tragic is when people do nothing about it. The test of religion is doing something with the knowledge that you have that of the Son of God, the Savior and Redeemer of the world, who prompts you by his life and action to do something that brings relief and comfort and sustenance to people.
But when it happens, you don't question your faith.
No. We go to work to repair the damage that's done. We can do nothing about what happened, but we can do a very great deal about what has happened in terms of the people who are dispossessed and in such terrible difficulty.
More from the Mormon Tabernacle in Salt Lake City as we continue on this Christmas Eve in our Millennium Month. Don't go away.
High roads of the future.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
I think religion in the next millennium will be much the way it is now, with one exception. There won't be the competition, the conflict between religions.
What we need to avoid is the arrogance of one faith seeking to exclude the insights and the teachings of others.
For the first time in history, great religions are coming together to know each other, to know one another better, and to work for the betterment of the world community.
Conflict in the name of different traditions, which can reduce. Meantime, the potential to serve humanity can increase.
We must accept our differences. We must accept God do not create people to agree. You know, there is no one single religion.
My prayer and hope that the next century, the next millennium, will find people who call themselves religious have a reputation for being the kindest, most respectful, most intelligent people on planet Earth.
Let us coexist as brothers, neither threatening the integrity of the other. That will be the way to begin a new millennium.
Voices of the Millennium is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Financial services on your side.
Picture this. A place down by the lake, front yard of crystal blue water, plenty of room for the kids, and of course, the grandkids.
If you can picture the future, Nationwide can too. We offer financial services like mutual funds and retirement planning that fit your changing needs and help make your future everything you pictured. Nationwide. Insurance, financial services on your side.
Buzz Aldrin and I don't take the same approach to investing. I like trading at home. Buzz trades from far away. Gotcha. We do, however, share the same new way to trade online.
Introducing PowerStreet by Fidelity, with the tools you need to trade your way, whether online, two-way pager, or the new Palm 7 handheld computer.
And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use it.
Speak for yourself, Bob.
PowerStreet at Fidelity.com. Online trading gets personal.
From processing stock trades in the financial world to selling hits in the music world, from sharing information in government operations to medical operations, from the manufacturing of products to the interaction of products, from tracking packages to tracking spending. At Sun, our technologies power the net for business. We're the dot in .com. What can we .com for you?
The epic story of a woman who challenged the heart of a king and inspired a nation.
You have the power to lead your...
Now is not the time to change the way that things are done.
Jodie Foster and Chow Yun-fat star in Anna and the King. Watch CNN Showbiz today for the answers to the Anna and the King trivia quiz and enter at CNN.com. You could find yourself sailing aboard a majestic ocean schooner. Anna and the King, now showing.
People have been calling, asking where the choir is. That choir that you're seeing was recorded. We taped that last weekend when they did a concert here at the Tabernacle. They are on this Christmas Eve home with their families, where we hope you are as well, watching this special Christmas Eve edition in our Millennium Month of Larry King Live. Archbishop Tutu, one of the great current problems is youth, troubled youth, violence. We see it all over America, and it's happening in other parts of the world. What do you make of it? What can we do about it?
First of all, I think we ought not to exaggerate the seriousness of the problem. I am myself very distressed at how quickly we write young people off, especially in this country. We don't speak about the many, many young people who go as Peace Corps in very many different parts of the world, working voluntarily. We don't praise them for the good things. We speak about the few. But we've also got to say that perhaps society has a lot to answer for. What are the values that we put before our kids? We've exaggerated competitiveness. We've exaggerated success. We say the worth of a person depends on how well you do. So that when you don't do well, we say something has happened to your value. We need to be more careful about how we want to cultivate a more compassionate, a more caring kind of community where people matter no matter what, that their value is intrinsic. It is not something that depends on whether you succeed, whether you pass exams, whether you get on the first team. No, your value resides with you. You have been given this as a gift by God, and we ought to revere people and get our kids, tell them they are tremendous, that they are made for greatness. And many of them, in fact, reach out to the stars. And you tell them, the sky is the limit. But you matter as who you are.
We're going to take a break and ask that same question of Reverend Schuller and President Hinckley. What about what this is all about anyway? Tomorrow, the future, the kids. Don't go away.
Choose your minivan from the most luxurious Chrysler Town & Country Limited to America's lowest priced Voyager. Voyager, named a Consumer's Digest Best Buy 11 years in a row. And maybe that's why more people choose from our family of minivans than any other. Now get $12.50 cash allowance on all Chrysler minivans or lease Voyager for $239 a month.
It's a moment of anticipation, a moment of vision, a moment of hope. It's the dawn of a new millennium, and CNN will be there, live. 60 correspondents in key locations worldwide, bringing you the global celebrations as we usher in the new year. Plus, breaking news and Y2K coverage you expect from the world's news leader. Millennium 2000, 100 hours of non-stop coverage, beginning New Year's Eve at 4:30 a.m. Eastern on CNN.
Voices of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, the pictures of Bethlehem. By the way, Bishop Tutu will be leaving us after this segment. You will be conducting the Mass at the top of the hour at the National Cathedral. Is that correct, Archbishop?
I'm doing that, and I want to wish all of you a very, very blessed Christmas, the last Christmas of this century, of this millennium, and all of the very best for the new millennium.
And
we extend the same wish to you, Bishop.
Thank you very much.
We wish you nothing but the best of health. We thank Bishop Tutu. He's got to conduct a Mass at the top of the hour. Okay, thank you very much for joining us, Bishop. We'll have a substitute little guest in the final portion. Reverend Schuller, the kids of today, what are your thoughts? The Columbines and all the rest?
Well, I think, first of all, our kids are suffering from the cultural sickness and sin in our society, which, among all other things, is secularism and materialism. And materialism does not satisfy, obviously. And the secularism leaves them totally emotionally and spiritually empty and hollow. But why do we have the secularism? I think we have to look at ourselves as religious leaders and say that part of the problem is a lot of secularists have been driven away from God because the religious people fought with each other, quarreled with each other, tried to convert each other, and I think that the future of the faith in the next century millennium, we've got to say, I'm going to respect you, even though I hold different viewpoints.
But why,
I'm not going to try to convert.
But how does that affect the kids?
I'm not going to try. The kids, because a lot of their parents, of these kids, are parents who've turned religion off. They've turned it off because they're tired of religion. They see the faults of religion. We have to move from religion to spiritual relationships.
Well said. Do you agree with that, President Hinckley?
Of course there's that element. Of course there is. But I see hundreds of thousands of young people who live in this age and keep the faith of Jesus Christ and live decent, constructive lives, go to school. If you want to reform the world, you begin by reforming yourself. And I see that going on all across this world. We have many, many youth in very, very serious trouble. But let us not forget that we have many who have found the way and are living the teachings with which they are guiding their lives and are making of themselves productive and valued citizens of society.
But you are concerned about those who would shoot up a school.
I certainly am.
Do you think it's, as Reverend Schuller says, it's in the parents, it's in the loss of values?
I think it's in the home. Everything, I believe, starts in the home. When parents abdicate their religious values, their children pick up none of those values, then we're sliding downhill. But it's my witness that there are very, very many who are doing a good job of it. Really, Larry, we're not failing.
They have to be religious values, in your opinion?
Well, religious values and moral values are very close together.
Do you think it's all in the home, Reverend Schuller?
Well, I think that's the #1 spot where we have our basic problem. But even as I say that, I think we have to look at ourselves as religious leaders. Now, I happen to focus on the secular world. That's been my ministry for 45 years. I'm not interested in talking to people who have religion. I'm trying to talk to people who turned God off, and they've turned the church off, and they've turned the faith off, and they've become pure secularists, materialists. And I'm asking this question: how can we religious leaders begin to say, I'm interested in impressing non-religious people, not trying to convert other religious people to my viewpoint?
All right, that's your mission. That's not yours, though, is it, President Hinckley?
Yes, of course it is.
talk to
We're
the
all
non-religious-
interested in the same group when all's said and done. And that is to make bad men good and good men better. That's our mission. That's our responsibility, to reach out to those who need help, while at the same time giving encouragement and help and a pattern of life for those who are doing what is right.
So you have to live your moral code for me to believe it. 'cause
You
there's
have to
nothing
live
worse.
your moral code. As I said before, it all starts with the individual. Religion means nothing unless it becomes a reflection in the life of the individual. It starts with me and with you. And if you want to change the world, you begin by changing yourself.
The future is in us,
Larry,
and we'll
may I-
talk about the
yeah.
future. Hold on, we'll pick up with Reverend Schuller in our remaining moments on this Christmas Eve edition of Larry King Live, with maybe a little surprise when we return.
Wow. For me? What is it? DVD! Thank you!
Where's the movie?
Did you find it yet?
I can't find it anywhere. I haven't seen it.
Any luck?
It's never too late for a fun gift. Best Buy, bringing a little magic to life.
Every year, millions of people start driving. And they keep on driving. Where will all the energy come from? That's why we're on the road to ExxonMobil.
I will not forget that I have long-term responsibilities.
I won't let panic triumph over reason. I'll stay the course when everyone else says the sky is falling.
The stock market moves up and down, sometimes dramatically. In my 30-year career, the stock market's gone up over 10-fold. But in that same time period, it's had 14 drops. of 10% or more. Stay the course. That's what I've always done.
For more information on Fidelity funds with a history of solid performance, visit Fidelity.com.
Tonight on CNN Newsday, for the teacher, it's a labor of love. For the students, a chance to learn their craft from living legends. It's not your conventional acting school. Meet the man with the lead role at the Actors Studio. CNN Newsstand, tonight, 10 Eastern.
We're back. This is my little son, Chance. Shauna said, don't put the pen in your mouth, okay? Reverend Shula can't see him. Let me quote, before we have a comment from Reverend Shula and from President Hinckley. Reverend Shula, Jesus said, suffer the little children to come unto me and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. On this Christmas Eve, my little 9-month-old Chance is here. What do you say for his future, Reverend Shula?
I think it's going to be beautiful because he's got a mother and a father that are going to communicate to him values of positive faith. You are not going to communicate to him negative thoughts about religion. You're going to give him positive thoughts, and you're going to teach him to think and be open and look for faith. And I think he's got a great future.
God bless you, Reverend Shula, and thanks for being with us in Bethlehem on this historic Christmas Eve.
Larry, I don't know if I'm still on, but I want to thank you for this program. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And I want to thank President Gordon B. Thank you, Reverend Shula, and thank you, President Gordon B. Hinckley, for the courtesy of this wonderful city and your wonderful faith and this incredible building.
We're happy to have you. This historic Christmas Eve, the last of the century, the last of the millennium, to have you here in this sanctified and wonderful hall with this great music of the Tabernacle Choir and these wonderful Christmas decorations, all of which are here in tribute to our Master, the Lord Jesus Christ, whose birth we commemorate at this time. As for Chance, yes, you're going to have a good life, my dear friend. You got a great father and a great mother, and they love you, and they're going to rear you in the way that will make you happy and productive. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, everyone.
Merry Christmas to everyone tonight.
Thank you. And don't forget, Monday morning, get your issue of Time Magazine. They're going to name Time Magazine's Person of the Century. Stay tuned for CNN Newsstand, and Merry Christmas from everyone at CNN to everyone at your house. Thanks to KSL. Thanks to everyone in Salt Lake. Good night for Chance and the whole group.
Beginning in 7 days, 100 hours of non-stop around-the-world coverage. Millennium 2000, only on CNN.